Lindsay asks, if everyone in Australia who had 2 or more investment properties were forced to sell them immediately, how many more homes would be added to the property market for sale? I don't know if there's a way to find that out, or it's just something that came to mind. So Lindsay's asking if everyone in Australia had 2 or more investment properties, had to sell them immediately. So if the government came and said, okay, if you have more than 2 investment properties, you had to sell, would that solve the Australian housing crisis?
On one hand, it helps. On the other hand, it doesn't.
Okay.
Right. So let's think about this. When we buy investment properties, what are we doing? We're renting them out.
Yeah, we're providing housing
For people, right? So if everyone in Australia sells their investment properties, guess what? No one can rent. There's homelessness like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
So that's a widespread problem that's not going to go away, right? So that's catastrophic, isn't it?
It is.
And that's way worse than the alternative or the selling of the properties to then create more stock to not have the property market being so expensive.
Yeah.
Right. I'm on the side of, well, we've got to keep these properties for people to be able to rent because government housing there's not enough to be able to live for renters or tenants around the country.
And that is the fact. There is not enough housing and we cannot keep up with the demand for housing.
Yeah.
I would hate to see what would happen to the economy if everybody was forced to sell their properties. I'm sure that they've considered it. I mean, they wouldn't even take away negative gearing for the fear of what it would do to the housing market and allowing those things. But interesting concept.
It is, yeah. And hot off the press, negative gearing, I believe, has been taken off the table for next election promises. So, yeah, once again, been on and off the table quite a bit. But I think when we look at Australian property, right, there's around about 5% of the total amount of properties are sold each year.
Okay.
Right. So something like 11 million properties in Australia, but only 500,000 are transacted on each year.
Okay.
Okay. So don't ask me where I got that stat from, but it's pretty reliable. So when we think about investors that own 2 or more properties, we're talking like 2%, a really small percentage. Right, so it's going to have some impact, but it's going to be a dent. It's not going to be a full-on crash, I don't think.
Yeah, I think those people that have 3 or more investment properties, what do they equal? Is it 1% of investors?
1 point something percent or something.
And so I think when people do, I see a lot on different chats about that's the thing causing the housing crisis. However, it's such a tiny percent. So could that be such a big impact that people think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the poor old investor, they cop it when there's any policy change or property prices too high or rents are too high or whatever it may be. Well, it's just a fact. It's a byproduct of what the government's created, basically. Yeah,
and we need to find ways to help first home buyers into the market.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Absolutely. And when I talk about that 5% of properties transacted each year, what are the other 95% doing?
Yeah.
Story for another day.